Karen has a racist outburst on a Mexican bus driver when he was just trying to do his job. Here's what happened. Subscribe to Am I the Jerk on YouTube and hit the bell for notifications. For a bit of background information, I live a good 3.5 hours from my dad and my mom and stepdad. I can't drive, so when I need to go up to see them, I usually get a bus ticket since they're relatively cheap, and I've never had a problem with them. Since it's a long drive, the bus takes a small break at a city about 45 minutes away from my town. When this happens, the bus will pull up to a gas station. That's also one of the bus stops, and the driver will announce where we are, and then we'll be there for 10 to 15 minutes, so we can get out and stretch our legs or go to the gas station to use the restroom or buy some snacks. When this happened, I was heading back to my town, so I've already been on the bus for a few hours already. When I first got on, I was the only one. But at the other bus stops before the gas station, some other people got on. No one super noticeable, but I wasn't really paying too much attention. Mainly students and people my age. But there was also what I assumed to be a mother and her 2 kids. I was sitting in the very back with earphones in and playing on my Switch. So again, not paying too much attention. Anyways, we get to the stop and the driver announces where we are and that we're taking a small 10-minute break so we can get out and do whatever. I stay in my seat since I'm pretty deep into my game and I don't need anything. But notice some people get off the bus, including the mom and her kids. About 10 minutes pass and the bus driver gets back on and starts counting everyone. I'm pretty sure he has a list of everyone and knows how many people that are supposed to be on the bus, and gets back to the front of the bus and announces he's missing 3 people. Hint, it's the mom and her kids. So we can't leave until they get back. Great. I go back to playing Breath of the Wild on my Switch. I'm not super bothered since I think they'll be back soon and the buses have outlets so I can charge my phone and Switch. They get back 30 minutes later. I'm not sure if the bus driver called them or something, but when the mom steps on the bus, the driver's obviously ticked off and asks her where she was. The conversation went something like this. Ma'am, where were you? We've been waiting for half an hour. We were getting food. My children are hungry. We stopped for a break. She motions to her kids who both have bags from a fast food joint. The break was 10 minutes. You were gone for 40. Please try to not hold up the bus again. I have a schedule to follow. You're free to stretch or use the gas station for a bathroom break or snacks. So please don't do that again. This is when chaos breaks out. Wow, my children need real food, not chips or whatever crap that place has. If anything, your breaks should be longer. Sorry, ma'am, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and if I get behind on one trip, I'll be behind on the others. Please, take a seat and I'll start driving. No, this is unacceptable. I'll have you fired, you insert many derogatory slurs here. Ma'am, one more time. Sit down so I can continue driving. Screw off, slur. I'll get your slur butt fired. Okay, fine. Get off from calling the police. Fine, call them. I'll get your stupid butt deported. The bus driver was Mexican and has an accent. Sorry guys, I'm not gonna put on an accent. So he calls them. They show up within a few minutes and the bus driver and the entitled mother and her kids get off to talk to the police. So I'm not sure what they said, but after a few minutes, she storms onto the bus, grabs her bags, and stalks off the bus. Seriously, the whole bus was shaking. I asked the guy a few rows in front of me what happened out there, and the police obviously took the bus driver's side and told the entitled mother they'll find her a way to get to her location, but she can't use this one. She cussed up a storm at them, but they just told her to get her bags and come with them. After she and her kids left, bus driver got back on the bus, apologized for the wait, and started driving again. The rest of the ride went smoothly, and I got back home late, but overall okay. Still, it sucks to lose an hour of your day just because of jerks. Seriously, how's this woman gonna waste everyone on that bus's time and then turn around and start yelling at the bus driver who generously decided to wait for her? Like, that's the most surprising thing to me. The fact that the bus was still waiting an extra half hour just for her. They must have been in the middle of nowhere or something, or he wouldn't have waited like that. But to come back with that kind of attitude and start yelling slurs and things at the bus driver who very nicely waited for you is just one of the rudest things you could possibly do. No one's gonna be taking your side in this one. All you've done is waste everyone's time and made yourself look like a jerk in front of your kids. My entitled jerk of a father said he wished I had bought him a Christmas present instead of making him one. My dad has always been entitled. I have autism in the middle of the scale, but that made me a victim of his bullying and harassment. Growing up, he always put me down over the smallest thing. I was singing in the church choir and I thought I sounded okay, but Oh, no. He thought I needed schooling because I wasn't able to hit a high note well. Well, sorry for being nervous on stage and that made me choke. He's done a lot of mean things to me and my siblings. But the worst was a couple years after my parents divorced. It was Christmas time. I started getting really interested in my craft work and made a lot of things to give to my family members. I made picture frames to look like their windows. Crude work, but I was young. They all loved them. But did my old man? I'll let you decide. I made one with all my siblings and me in a window frame and made it look cute for him. I even made two with him and I in a window frame. I wrapped it up in what could be called beginner's wrapping and hid it under the tree. Once we got to opening presents, I was excited to see what his reaction was. My mom was with us, so she got to see too. He opened them and gave what looked to be a smile, but small. Well, isn't that cute? My entitled jerk of a dad said, making me smile wide. Thank you, I worked really hard on them, I boasted, because I was happy to hear that he really liked them. Here's where it got worse, folks. They're adorable, but I was hoping for something paid than made. Yep, he said that. He really did. I was about 13 or 14 when this happened, so I should have been angry or yelled at him. But because of my autism, it took a while for the words to sink in. You don't like it? No, I do, but I'm not really into this sort of thing. But you did an amazing job, hon. He smiled still at me and placed it at his side on the couch where he sat. I still didn't know how to respond. Maybe I was too preoccupied in the fact that it's Christmas and I got some cool stuff, that I didn't think of how he responded to my gift. I just sat there quiet and confused, maybe even a little sad. Oh, but this infuriated my mom. My mother was someone you do not want to mess with. Say one thing bad and she'll turn your life around so fast, you won't even realize what horrible punishment you've put yourself into. She's very protective of us, and once she heard those words coming out of that jerk's mouth, she was angry. After getting home from Dad's house, we all went to our rooms, or the TV room, either to play with our new toys or to watch cartoons. I was in the TV room till I heard my mom scream into the phone in the bathroom. She must have wanted to wait so she wouldn't spoil the fun we were having back at his house, and didn't want any of us to hear her. But we did. She was screaming about how selfish and inconsiderate he was to say that when I worked so hard for the photo frames. I couldn't hear what the jerk was saying over the phone, but it must have been his usual snarky talk that continued to boil my mom's rage. She continued to scream and occasionally cuss at him, which she rarely did, so it was a surprise, till she got what she can out and hung up. Later on, she cuddled me in bed saying I shouldn't let this bother me, and tried to comfort me the best she can. She always laid down in bed with us to comfort us no matter how old we are, but nothing too bad. She's a mother and wanted to cheer us up. So after several minutes of calming back rubs and kind words to say to a sad and broken child, she got up and walked out of my room. I continued to cry as his words slowly sunk in, and later made me wish to never see him over Christmas time or birthday. To this day, I still have a hard time making things for those I care about because I'm afraid of what they'll say about it. Most of them are good, but it's still hard for me. You don't even realize sometimes that if something happened in your life that was bad, you think nothing of it, till it sinks in eventually and possibly ruined your life from then on, which is what he did to me and my siblings over the years, till we finally stopped seeing him all at once. He's done more mean things to me. Once was how he tried to force me into answering questions about himself for raffle tickets, but that's another story. He still thinks nothing is wrong with him, and will get angry if you even say anything about it to him. I'm glad he's out of my life, and if he dies, I'll cry, yeah, but at least the world will be done with that entitled jerk. As unfortunate as it is, some people just don't know how to accept a gift like that. And unfortunately enough for you, this person happened to be your father. There are many things that leads a person to be this way, and you can tell it from their overall personality, as is the case with your dad. It is generally just a sense of entitlement. It seems like that's something that you caught on to pretty early in your life, unfortunately. In a lot of cases, when that's the way they are, you're just better off without him. It sounds like you have at least one parent who's very supportive and loving. So you got that going for you. A classic Karen move of yelling at a store associate over a policy they have no control over. First, a little bit of background. I worked for a shoe company, and it's not an outlet, where the shoe boxes are all on the sales floor. So I have to provide full service, measuring feet, getting the shoe boxes from the back room, etc. And this was during December, 'tis the season. I had gotten a brand new store manager that was a real piece of work, scheduled me for over 40 hours a week when I was only legally allowed to work a maximum of 20. And when she was assigned work from our district manager, she would dump the work on me and take the day off. She lied about being pregnant for 2 months before actually getting pregnant. statement. So company policy on gift cards during this holiday season was to call a certain number to verify a customer's card and ID had matching addresses to prevent fraud. Our mall had a problem with credit card stealing. This was company policy, and failure to do so was termination. In comes our entitled Karen. For our cast, we have crappy manager, entitled Karen, Adam, the manager from another store, and me. We were horribly understaffed, and it was a very busy Friday. It was only the crappy manager and I with about 15 people in a small store at a time. At this point in the day, everyone was trying to check out, and I'm usually very quick about checking people out until entitled Karen comes to my register. This conversation is paraphrased because I repressed the memory of this woman. "I'm on a gift card," she demanded. Didn't even say please. Whatever, I'm used to rude customers. "No problem, I'll just have to call a number to make sure your address on your ID matches your credit card." I picked up the store phone. "No, why do you need to do that?" She got more irritated. "It's just to prevent fraud in our store, ma'am." She interrupted me. "Well, my address isn't going to match. I moved a few months ago." At this point, I'm getting a little nervous because I rarely get customers that yell at me, and I don't like when people raise their voices to me. "Well, I'm sorry, ma'am, then I can't sell you the gift card. If you want to avoid the whole call procedure, you could pay in cash." "I don't carry cash." At this point, I looked over at crappy manager for assistance because I don't get paid enough to get yelled at by a Karen. Of course, crappy manager made sure to ignore my silent pleas and continued checking out her customers. "Jerk. Ma'am, I can't sell you the gift card. I'm sorry." "Just do it. I've been to so many stores today trying to find your store's gift cards, and I couldn't find them anywhere but here. Our gift cards are only sold in our stores." At this point, I'm tearing up because I don't handle being berated for something I can't change very well, and I walk into the back room. The store phone rang and it was another location. I answered. Hey, it's Adam, can you ask?" I interrupted him. "Adam, I can't do this. This woman keeps yelling at me." I explained the situation, sobbing. Adam was the manager that trained me to be at this location, and he was a cool guy. He told me to calm down and that crappy manager will take care of it. She did it. And since he forgot what he called for, he just wished me the best for the rest of my shift and hung up. I'd stopped crying. I was gone for maybe 5 minutes from the floor when I came back out. The woman was still there with an annoyed look on her face. "I have money now. Can I buy the darn card already?" "Yes, ma'am, you can." I did not say another word to this woman and just handed her the card after I put the money in my register. She snatched the card and stopped out of the store, mumbling insults about me in the store. The rest of the customers who'd been waiting to be checked out weren't upset because they knew how unreasonable the woman was being, and all apologized, and the rest of my shift went off without any more angry Karens. I still tell that story. I work at the same shoe company but at a different location with my awesome manager, and when I told her the story, she talked about how she would have kicked the woman out. So, yeah. Don't yell at associates about company policy. We didn't make it, and we are paid enough to endure your abuse, jerk. As someone who's spent many years working in retail, I can completely relate to this story. You have customers that get frustrated with you just trying to do your job. Even if it's a policy you don't necessarily agree with yourself, it's something that you have to do. You have no control over these decisions made by head office or your district manager or whoever. You gotta just go with the flow. And a lot of the time, they know that the policy is kinda crappy, but they're not the ones that have to take any flack from the customers. Unfortunately, it all falls to the people on the front line. So, as a general rule, try and be nice to the people helping you behind the counter. Odds are, whatever you're upset with them about isn't their fault. Entitled Karen screams and throws a tantrum because I'm refusing to help her. I was looking at emails on my computer when the phone rings. I pick it up to your sweet voice on the other end. The conversation went something like this. "Hello, welcome to company name. How may I help?" "So, my son's phone is broken, so you need to come and fix it." "Okay, what phone is it and what's wrong with it? Is it smashed?" "Why do you need to know that?" "So we know how much to charge you." "You charge people for this work? All you do is repair phones. It's not a job, so you don't get paid. It costs money to send people out and for the tools to fix it. Well, if you don't fix it for free, then I'm gonna have you fired. I'm friends with the owner. He's called Matt. Michael is my boss's name. If you're not gonna buy anything, then get off the line. Let me speak to your manager. You will be fired." My manager's at a meeting about our department's budget, so he's currently unavailable. "Liar! I want this phone fixed, you useless jerk, and I want compensation for you wasting my time." She proceeds to yell other insults like "go die" and things like that, and also screams and stomps and throws a tantrum, screaming like a 2-year-old with no toy. So, thankful our company calls are recorded. I'm sorry you feel that way. I'm gonna have to hang up now. No, you will listen to me now. I hang up my phone, which immediately rings again. Hello? You're so rude. How dare you hang up on me? I don't have to put up with you. Hang on. Did you just insult me? Did you? She's screaming and crying like a child. I thought it was her kid. You're wasting my time. Shut up and act your age. Excuse me? You're so rude. Yes, excuse you. You've wasted my time and have given me a headache. She starts screaming and throwing a tantrum again. I need to put you on hold. It'll only be a minute. I muted myself and went for my break. I came back to hear her still screaming. I'm back. You're not welcome here. Goodbye. I hang up and block her. Now whenever I'm bored, I just listen to that recording and laugh at that jerk. How you gonna call a repair service expecting it to be free? Come on now, lady. Of course they charge for that kind of work. Parts, labor, all kinds of things go into a business like that. What would make you think that they would just do it for free? And then when they don't, you have a complete mental breakdown and start acting like a 2-year-old? If you're gonna act like a child, I'm gonna treat you like a child. I'm not gonna reward that kind of behavior. You get to go sit in the corner until you've calmed down. I called out my parents for spending nearly 3 times as much on my sister's wedding as they did on mine. This happened 6 months ago, but I'm legitimately curious to see if I'm the jerk. I, 36-year-old male, got married 6 years ago to my wife. My wife's family is not well off like mine. When we announced our engagement, my parents gifted us $20,000 out of the blue for the wedding. We were shocked and so thankful. The money paid for my wife's dress, my and her siblings' wedding party outfits and makeup, and the venue and food. We managed to have a small, beautiful wedding, and even had $3,000 left over for the honeymoon. I'm beyond thankful for that money, and know that we would not have had our wedding without it. Plus, being able to pay for her family's outfits and makeup really helped lessen their financial burden. Here's where I need to ask if I'm the jerk. My sister is getting married, and I just happened to be at my parents' house and got into wedding talk. My sister was going on and on about all the plans. I come to find that my parents agreed to shell out $35,000 for the venue, and cut her another $20,000 check for the other expenses. My sister and her fiance are both doctors. These expenses were outrageous to me because I'd been married and I know it can be done significantly cheaper. I went to my mom and asked why she allowed my sister to pick such an expensive venue, and there was time to find another one. We made our wedding work off $20,000. How can she excuse my sister as being 3 times the cost? My parents are retired and in their late 60s and early 70s. She told me that my sister's future husband's family were high-class people and have certain expectations. I asked what that meant, and she said they couldn't be expected to have such a meager budget like my wedding was. I was floored. I asked her if she thought $20,000 was a meager budget, and what did that say about what she thought of my wife and her family? My mom said I was making a big deal out of nothing. A woman's family pays for the wedding. My sister was just having an expensive wedding, and it's none of my business. I agree that it is their money and they should spend it how they want, but that high class and meager budget comment has been eating at me since. It seems to me like my mom is saying that my wife was lucky to get a wedding because her family is not well off. I haven't mentioned this to my wife because she does have insecurities about how my parents feel about her, and it might have hurt her. Am I the jerk here for calling out my parents and how much they're spending on my sister's wedding? Okay, normally I would say it isn't really any of your business, that they have their own money that they can spend however they want. Maybe they're in a better place than they were before and feel they can splurge a little bit more on your sister's wedding. I wouldn't take it personally, but $35,000 just for the venue? That's absolutely insane. That just feels like your sister's taking advantage. And I would want to speak up at that point too. If your parents are saying to just stay out of it, then that would be what I do. But I totally understand why you would want to speak up. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications. Put the playlist on in the background to finish listening to all the stories, linked at the top of the description. And if you like Am I the Jerk, give Am I the Genius a shot, linked in the description as well. Either way, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.